last night we had a really nice program in New York City, and we've done 3-4 programs back to back, 2 programs at a time in our ashram. But in my old age, I'm becoming a bit of a pragmatist. I say old age because I've lived in temple life for 18 years now. Since 2005, I've been living in our temples in India, and just since 2020, I'm serving in the United States. But I do feel like I've got a lot of rubber on the road, you could say. 18 years is a long time in anyone's life, but 18 years trying my earnest best to understand how to serve our Srila Gurudev's mission as he requested. He asked me since I was 10 years old. So I'm really trying to figure out how best to serve him and understand his connection to the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm just going to share some of my reflections on that, and hopefully that can have some, not relevance. I'm not trying to see, part of my understanding of how to serve Mahaprabhu is I'm here with my seniors. I have a lot of miles on the road, but nothing compared to a lot of my seniors here in terms of their service. Gorsundar Prabhu, Mahabudhi Prabhu, Budada Prabhu, Raghav Pandit Prabhu, Yashodananda Prabhu. There are so many Maharajas will be speaking. So this is my meditation today, is how can we please Mahaprabhu on his Avirbhav, on his appearance day? To serve, first of all, service means to please. A lot of people don't know that perhaps about service, but the difference between work, karma, and service is it's based on love. So really, as a thesis for this talk, because I'm always speaking and there's always different topics, but really in half an hour we can't cover Gaur-Katha. And so many Vaishnavas are presenting so many things about Gaur's pastimes, and I've been speaking on this about 10 classes now in the last 5 days. So I like to speak about whatever is inspired in our heart in this time. So really the question is how to please Mahaprabhu on his appearance day. How can we please Mahaprabhu on his appearance day? And first we have to know that to please means we may endeavor to please him, but what is pleasing to him? We should endeavor to understand that. So Mahaprabhu is appearing today, but another thing to understand is that Mahaprabhu never disappears. There's no Tirobhav festival for Mahaprabhu, right? We have no disappearance day for Mahaprabhu. So we don't have to wait, like if we're Christians, we're waiting for Christ to come back. But Prabhupada said, we're the real Christians. That means God is in your heart, he never left. So Mahaprabhu never left. So that's why I'm trying to think, okay, Mahaprabhu is present now. So how do we please him? One thing that's really been a strong feeling for me since living many years in India in the temples is that there's a big difference between having a faith and living a faith. There's a big difference between believing in something and acting upon your belief in something with real faith in it. And so this has been a big point for me. How can we have faith in our faith and live in that faith and serve with that faith? So for me, I try to do that in my life. So if there's a philosophical principle in our scriptures, I try to live as if it's real. So first of all, the first principle I'm living by is that Mahaprabhu is here now. Mahaprabhu is not a deity we worship, he is Mahaprabhu. And then he has his deity form. So for anyone who has Gaur Nitai on their altar, this is one of the appearance places of Mahaprabhu. Right? Another thing we've been talking about is that God is always present everywhere. This is Shastra, the scripture. Everywhere, God is present. The pure devotee sees him everywhere. Sarvabhuteshu yapasid bhagavad bhavamatmana. The pure devotee can see the Lord everywhere. But Prahlad Maharaj said, you're inside, outside. We say God is in your heart, and then God is in everyone else's heart, and he's everywhere, Paramatma. But presence and appearance is different. What does it mean, appearance? Then I have to appear. So that's why we take initiation. Our initiation is our appearance day, our spiritual birthday. So, for example, the sun is always rising, but if we're hiding in a dark cave, we don't see the sun. So the sun doesn't appear to us. So God is everywhere, but He appears to us when we accept His presence in our life. So this is another point. A few things is to understand how to please Mahaprabhu. We have to understand who is Mahaprabhu. What are His features? Mahaprabhu is Pancha Tattva. Sorry if I'm speaking loud, but I know my mic's a little far away and no one minds. I'm a bit of a Bible thumper now. Okay, so where is Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu is in the Didi. Mahaprabhu is in the Didi. Is that His only place? Mahaprabhu is in the Mahamantra. That is His appearance place. So last night we had a program, 40, 50 new people. I said, 6 minutes to save your life means 1 round of japa. And if you can't do 1 round of japa, then you do 1 Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. 8 seconds to save your life. And if you don't have 8 seconds, then we say 1 second to save your life, Hare Krishna. Then Mahaprabhu is appearing. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. This Mahaprabhu, he is the Mahamantra. And he is Radha Krishna. And in this age, to please Mahaprabhu, you understand Radha Krishna Pranamod. You have to understand Radha Krishna are my life and soul. But Radha Krishna and Mahaprabhu are not different. So to actually become to the stage where Radha Krishna are your life and soul, not just by lip service, but by reality, then you take shelter of Mahaprabhu. Right? We were talking about this at the ashram. People like to sing Radhe, 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 Radhe. And then after we're finished, tired singing Radhe, Radhe, we think, oh, you are my lover, you'll be my lover, or I'll take this, or I'll take that. So to chant Radhe, Radhe, and to our heart to automatically chant Radhe, Radhe, we must take shelter of Mahaprabhu. How do we take shelter of Mahaprabhu? How to please Mahaprabhu? Jadi pranaya rakite ghorange rasane. Chota Haridasar Katha Thake Janamane. If you want to please Mahaprabhu, oh, Vairagya Hoy. What is the path that Mahaprabhu walked? He said, always remember Chota Haridas. Don't be bogus sannyasi. So, okay, now I have something I know what to do. If I do this, I can start trying to please Mahaprabhu. This is my program. How to please Mahaprabhu, because Mahaprabhu is not gone 15th century. Mahaprabhu is today, 2023, Gaur Purnima, Mahaprabhu's appearance day. And every day is Mahaprabhu's appearance day, because anytime we chant Mahamantra, Mahaprabhu is there. So this is one way to please Mahaprabhu, not be bogus rascal. I can try. I don't know if I'll succeed. But try not to be a bogus rascal. Good start. Why? The world is full of cheaters. And they say those who can't do, they teach. And then they cheat. So Bhagavatam 2nd verse says, Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo. Our acharyas are not teachers. They are practitioners. First, then we can please Mahaprabhu. Achinotiye shastrartam achare stapayatyapi swayam acharati yasmad acharyas tena kirtita. Our Guru Varga, they practice. So then we can please Mahaprabhu. It's very difficult. Sanatana Goswami, he was wearing a nice blanket, and Mahaprabhu looked, oh, why are you wearing a nice blanket? You should wear a simple blanket. So Gurudev didn't like. I know I heard one story of one sannyasi from another organization. They didn't want to take sannyas from their sannyasi leader because that sannyasi leader had a gold palace and so much opulence. He said, I can't take from there. So this is, I'm telling you, I'm speaking a little bit perhaps in a selfish way. because I'm thinking about myself, and to be humble means to think of others. But I grew up fearing sannyasis. I can say that honestly. Because it's very easy to cheat, and it's very easy to teach. It's hard to live and to walk the path. And the people are sick and tired of being cheated. So if I'm trying to please Mahaprabhu, first of all, by, Gurudev has given me this way of life. I remember as a young boy, I wrote stories against bogus sannyasis. And I was always thinking, oh God, what if I hope I don't ever become sannyasi. But this wasn't my life path I chose. I accepted Gurudev's instruction. He said, be a brahmachari, serve my mission. So I lived and I served that 18 years in his temple. Now I'm taking sannyas. But I'm trying my best to serve Mahaprabhu, to please Mahaprabhu first. Let's not be bogus rascals. That's a good starting point. But that's not productive. That's only not counterproductive. So how to please Mahaprabhu in the present tense? Something we can all do. One thing we can do is we can show up together as a Sangha. So I think this program is pleasing to Mahaprabhu. So I give my pranam to all the organizers, all the participants. Gurudev would say we should offer pranam to the place. So I'm offering pranam to Zoom. Don't know what pranam, Zoom? Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada said we should use whatever technological advancements are there for the propagation of Krishna consciousness. So Dandavat Pranams. But these tools are useless without the people who properly use them. So Dandavat Pranams to Yashodanandan Prabhu and to all the devotees helping organizing, to you Mataji, so lovingly inviting and kindly introducing, and to the senior Vaishnavas present, also here to Ramananda Prabhu, to Raghav Prabhu, Budhar Prabhu, Mahabudhi Prabhu. We should do sadhu sangha. This is pleasing to Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu today is thinking, is anyone doing anything for me? But it's not for him, it's for us. This is another thing to understand. Alright, I have 12 minutes. Let's make them count. Sadhu sangha is pleasing to Mahaprabhu. Before Gurudev left, Gurudev said, my program should continue. So I've been meditating on that a lot. And I've been talking about that at our ashram a lot. We've been talking about endurance. What does it mean to endure all trials and tribulations? Tatenu kampam sushimik shamano. To endure and to continue to serve. So we all can see problems here, problems there, problems everywhere. But Gurudev said, our Gurudev was a lion. He said, don't deal with mice-like problems. Take on the elephant-like problems. Mice-like problems is, oh, today I don't feel like chanting Harinam. That's a mouse. Chant Harinam anyway. Imagine if kids, if their parents, they said, oh, I don't feel like going to school today. I don't feel like going this whole year. Okay, don't worry, don't go to school for a year. Just because you don't feel like doing it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. So Gurudev would say, chant Harinam. And he would glorify preachers in ISKCON and devotees. And he would say, oh, for 30 years they've been chanting without any taste. It's amazing. They have so much nishta, so much faith in Prabhupada, that for 30 years they're chanting with no taste. This is so pleasing to Mahaprabhu. So if we want to please Mahaprabhu, we chant Harinam. Taste or no taste. Right? And we come together and we do sadhu sangha. I'm sorry, this is not a very philosophical class. But I'm all out of philosophy. I've been speaking philosophy for 8 classes. And speaking pastimes for 8 classes. But this is what I'm telling myself. We should do sadhu sangha. We should hear Harikatha. So this is another thing. If you want to please Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu said, okay, you're chanting without taste. But one day you should taste the taste. If you're chanting without taste, it means you're not tasting the taste. What is the taste? Chaitanya lila mrita pura, Krishna lila sukar pura, duhe mili hoy sumadurya. Krishna lila and Gaur lila is so sweet. So if you don't relish Harikatha, then how can you develop taste in Nam? Therefore, the first limb of Navada Bhakti is Shravanam, to hear. So to please Mahaprabhu, we hear Harikatha. We hear Harikatha. And we come together despite differences. That's why this One Chaitanya Family Initiative is so vital. Because another way to please Mahaprabhu is not to serve Kali Maharaj. And Kali Maharaj separates us because your way is different than this person's way, and my way is different from that person's way, and all these different ways exist. But what is our way? Chaitadharpana Marjanam, Tadnama Sankirtanat, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda, Trinadapi Sunichana, Nadanam Nadanam. If we can agree on that, then the rest of the details we can agree to disagree without killing each other. Because no one's ever going to agree on everything. But let's agree on Shikshastakam. This will please Mahaprabhu. If all Vaishnavas in the One Chaitanya family could say, I agree with Shikshastakam. Your purport may be different from that Vaishnava's purport or that Vaishnava's purport, but we don't have any argument with Trinadapi Sunichana Tororvasahishana Manina Manine Kirtane Sadahari. We have no argument with that. So therefore we should agree on the fundamentals, and in a big family, and a big tree, and a big society, a worldwide mission, then there's room for disagreement on certain details. I may be wrong, another person may be wrong, but Mahaprabhu is not wrong. Therefore Mahaprabhu kept it simple. Chaitanya Charitamrita, now one thing I would like to say is, as I've learned from our Guru Varga, we should have primary faith and dedication in our primary scripture. That is Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Sri Bhagavad Gita. Then the Goswami literature. Right? Then our Guru Vargas. So what is the Bhagavatam version? What is the Gita version? What is the Chaitanya Charitamrita? We follow that. So if we can agree on Brajendra Nandan Shyamsundar Krishna. Right? So this would... I don't want to go long on this topic, but I would say Mahaprabhu will be happy if we don't kill each other. Right? Okay? But there's six kinds of Vaishnava Aparad. In this world, people are pretty cowardly, so they don't actually kill each other. They just try to kill each other with their words. And most of the time, you don't have the courage to say it to someone's face, so you say it to 100 faces behind their back. But this is still Vaishnava Aparad. But criticism, Aparad, is a long, detailed subject. I'm not generalizing anything. Right? To do it with malice, do it with hatred, and also ourselves. What did Christ say? Christ said, right, we turn the other cheek, and also we don't throw stones without being sinless. So that's its own topic. But I want to focus on this point today. This is something that gives me, some passion. What will really please Mahaprabhu is that this world is burning fire full of people suffering. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said it takes hundreds of gallons of blood to save one suffering jiva. And so our Guru Varga has shed thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of blood for me to be here today. Through our parampara. Each acharya is holding the tradition. Holding that tradition alive. And therefore, our humble effort is to also give help to those most in need. So this is something I've been thinking about myself personally. What's easy to do is, we do these sanghas and we do programs with devotees. And this is very nourishing for our bhakti. Krishna says in Gita, Bodhayanta Parasparam, we should discuss katha with each other, but we should also share with those who are suffering the most. Therefore, Mahaprabhu's movement is magnanimous, odharya, expanding the mercy. But the beauty of Mahaprabhu is that he's not just getting rid of suffering. Buddha did that. Lord Buddha came teaching non-violence and trying to get rid of suffering, but it didn't work. It was just a platform. So what Mahaprabhu is doing is he's giving the highest possible attainment. So what to speak of just getting rid of suffering? What Gurudev gave? That is, Gurudev said, I have not come just to clear the jungles, because the jungle always grows back. Okay? The jungle always grows back. So Gurudev came and he gave the temple, the palace. The jungle is cleared. What is the palace of the Bhagavatam? What is the top floor? What is the temple in the top floor? That is Seva Kunj. So Gurudev said, you want to be free of suffering? Go to the suffering jivas and introduce them to Seva Kunj. So that's what we're trying to do. When there's a forest fire, not all of the resources of the fire department should be put in watering the people who are already not burning. What do I mean? When Swami Prabhupada preached, he said, I need help. He asked his Gaudiya Math brothers, please send me resources. We're at the front line of the battle. But the urgency of that need wasn't felt by everyone. Our Gurudev helped. Some others helped. We're not discussing this point. The point is that Prabhupada said there's a fire, and let's put out the fire, or at least one person on fire. So that is also our mission. Gurudev came to the West, and he gave everyone Braja Bhakti, Radha Dasyam, this goal. Without Gurudev, we should understand the real message of Mahaprabhu would have been lost, or could have been lost. Because Mahaprabhu didn't only chant Harinam. Shikshastakam includes Ashlishavapadratang Pinastumam. This is the mood of the Braja Gopis. Shunyayatam Jagat Sarvam. This is the mood of the Gopis. And he instructed Rup Goswami to establish the mood of the Gopis. He established Sanatan Goswami, Jeev Goswami, all the Goswamis, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. Read Chaitanya Charitamrita, really. And then you see the message of Mahaprabhu is to understand Braja Bhakti, the mood of Sakya, Vatsalya, but most Madhurya, and within Madhurya, Radha Dasyam. So this is how we help those who are suffering. Not only saying, oh, you are suffering, let me give a band-aid. Let me give you self-help, which is very popular now. I'm a Hare Krishna self-help artist. And if it helps, good. But there's no solution to our material problem except for pure bhakti. We're always going to fight with our family or someone else. This is something we were joking about yesterday. It's Kali Yuga. If we're not fighting, something's wrong. Something's not normal. So what do? We don't be in Kali Yuga. Dhanya Kali Jugera Chaitanya Avatar. We're in Dhanya Kali. That means we try not to break the four regulative principles. We try to chant Harinam. Then this is Mahaprabhu's force field bubble. And then we don't have to fight. But otherwise we'll fight. Asat Sangha, then we'll fight. All these other things. So we'll try to follow Mahaprabhu. I know I only have 1 minute or so left. But I'm sorry, this is just random ramblings. But how to please Mahaprabhu? I don't know Mahaprabhu without Gurudev. So I want to conclude with that. To please Mahaprabhu, we have to please Gurudev. And Gurudev also didn't disappear. He has his Tirobhav, but he has his Avirbhav also. And every year we're celebrating his Avirbhav. Every year we're celebrating his Vyas Puja. We're not idolaters that worship dead statues. If Gurudev's Murti is a dead statue to you, then this is something Vaishnavas always told me. If you don't serve Thakurji with love, why serve them? Because it means you don't believe they're real. So serve them like they're real. Gurudev is real. You can pray. Gurudev is in his Vani. So one thing is Mahaprabhu also appears as Guru. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan. And Mahaprabhu appears as the devotees. So we honor Gurudev and we please Gurudev, then Mahaprabhu is pleased with us. Otherwise it says you're independent trying to come to me. How are you connected to my family without Gurudev? So Bhakti Pranam Gurudev would cry at Prabhupada's Samadhi and not be able to say his name. He would say, Prabhu. He couldn't complete his name because he had so much love for his Prabhupada. And he said, Prabhupada is the one who pulled me out of Maya. So this is my personal meditation. Also, we should love and serve our spiritual family. And we should appreciate each other, warts and all. Right? If someone who really loves you as you are. And someone who pretends to love you tells you, oh, one day I'll love you when you'll be good. But I like to hear this from people. Krishna loves us so much. He loves us as we are. And he loves us so much, he helps us become who we're meant to be. So we follow Srila Gurudev. There's so much philosophy. But a lot of the philosophy in the Katha focuses on the past. But my focus is today. On Gurudev's Vyas Puja, we had this class. We said, I'll stop very quickly, I promise. Gurudev is not past tense. We're always talking about Gurudev did this, Gurudev did that, Prabhupada did this, Mahaprabhu did that, Nityananda did that, Krishna did that. Rear, view, mirror. But I was just reading this morning, Srila Prabhupada said, I'm always traveling. I'm always preaching. So right now, Gurudev is preaching. Prabhupada is preaching, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, and they're performing their Leela. Right? Eternal present. So this is our meditation. To really please Gurudev, to really please Mahaprabhu, to really please Srila Prabhupada, we should be present with them. We should be present with them. Then, how can we also serve? Then, if you really want to please them, Siddha Rupena Chatrahi, Tadbhava Lipsuna Karya, Braja Lok Anusharata, follow the Brajabasis. Many times I saw people talk to Gurudev about preaching. He said, you'll never preach in your life because you're not practicing. So you want to preach, then we practice. Hare Krishna, we practice, then we ask someone else. But really, there's so many people out there who are dying to meet Srila Gurudev. There's so many people who are dying to meet Srila Gurudev. Let's introduce them to Srila Gurudev. That's our mission. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry for shouting.
No, no, Maharaj. I mean, you actually did give me a little bit of that preacher vibe, but it's really beautiful, because you opened up talking about that we have to have endurance, and it immediately made me think of that Bible verse from, I think, Paul, run this race with perseverance. And the race is really a marathon. I call it a radical quest. It's a full on. It's not a 100-yard dash by any means. And also just reminding us that we are in Gora Leela right now, that this is true, that these aren't just images or statues or idols. They are actual appearance places of the Supreme Lord in this most sublime, amazing form. And so much in your message. I can feel it. I can feel the passion. And I also really appreciated what you were sharing about bona fide guru, because I think all of us in some life and some time have had an experience of maybe false guru. I know that before I became Krishna conscious, I remember in college, I took a world religion class and I wrote a paper about how bogus gurus are.
Good.
But you meet these acharyas from this line, and it's part of why it's so astonishing and also delightful in this day and age of Kali Yuga to meet these elevated saints with such integrity to how they're living, like Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, my Guru Maharaj, all of the really the ones that we have in this disciplic succession are exemplary. And thank you so much. Thank you for being on the platform.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. And
I'm Indian now, so I'm sorry. I'm just trying to bring some spice.
Yeah.
I've lived longer in India than in the West.
No matter where the Hari Katha is coming from, we're all in Raj, we're all in Navadvip, this week. And so, by mind at least, and certainly by heart, if we can't be there physically.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Rasikananda Maharaj, I'm going to have to get used to that. So forgive me if I don't honor your sacred name. But
who are we hearing from next?
Jai. So And we're now going to go to another beautiful Prabhuji, Sriman Mahabodhi Prabhu.